agency space is now in a revolutionary era where if you make the mindset and business shifts that I'm going to break down for you on this channel, then it's actually going to be easier than it has ever been to scale your agency past 50 and even 100k per month in a short time frame. The basic SMMA business model that you've known, the model that's been taught in every single course out there, is finally dead. Hey guys, I hope you're all well. Welcome back to the channel. For those who don't know me, my name is SMMA. I'm a 20-year-old entrepreneur and agency owner from Scotland in the UK, but currently living in Bali. Now I'm sure after you read that title, you must be thinking, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But this is something that I've been keeping quiet and I kept to myself and my private mentorship community for quite some time now. And I think it's time that I finally open everyone's eyes up to how the basic SMMA business model that you've known, the model that's been taught in every single course out there, is finally dead. But where some people might hear this and give up on their agency, the smart ones, they'll realize that the agency space is now in a revolutionary era where if you make the mindset and business shifts that I'm going to break down for you on this channel, then it's actually going to be easier than it has ever been to scale your agency past 50 and even 100k per month in a short time frame. Now for you as an agency owner and an entrepreneur, this video series is going to be the most valuable and time-sensitive information that you can actually receive on a YouTube video. This is knowledge that maybe 0.1% of the agency space actually understands. So if you listen carefully and actually take action on what I'm about to go through, then you'll make your agency success inevitable. Now I've broken this down into 4 key shifts that you need to make right now in 2023. And in this video, we'll be going through the first shift, which is aligning yourself and your agency with your long-term vision. This is the first shift that I personally made, which took me from being a struggling SMMA owner, trying to do anything just to make a few $1,000s per month, to now running 2 agencies making multiple 6 figures per year. The most recent one, CreativeScale.io, I took from 0 to 35k per month in just under 3 months. So why do you actually need to make this shift? The first reason is that in 2023, there's going to be a massive influx of agency owners from audiences, from guys like Eman Gaji, that are all going to be sold on the idea of starting an agency so they can break out of the matrix. So you not making this shift, you're going to be constantly fighting an uphill battle against this huge pool of shit agency owners, pretty much NPCs, that just buy a course and start spamming out hundreds and hundreds of emails every single day, pushing the exact same offer as you and probably capping about their case studies so they look better than yours. And even though you may be a much better entrepreneur and agency owner than they are, they'll most likely be pushing out way more volume than you are with their outreach, therefore leaving you with no meetings booked, and eventually you'll end up thinking the same BS that every other agency owner thinks, which is, oh, the agency space is too saturated now, I'm just going to quit. Now the second reason is that you will eventually lose out to the agency owners playing the long-term game. Let's take an example of 2 different agency owners starting a short-form content agency. Person 1 is a guy that just wants to make some money. So he watches some YouTube videos and sees short-form content as a good agency offer to scale up quickly. So even though he has zero idea on how short-form content or personal branding works, he buys a course or a program that gives him the same shit irresistible offer and email copy that everyone uses. And he starts spamming out hundreds of emails or DMs per day, and he relies on an Indian or Filipino editor from Upwork to fulfill his service for him. And for this guy, eventually there will come a time, after outreaching to thousands and thousands of leads, where he'll either get bullied by his 1 or 2 clients that pay him $200, $300 per month, which he'll end up losing, or he'll just never manage to sign a client in the first place. Now person 2 is a guy that loves personal branding. He makes content for himself and for his friends on the side because it's one of his passions. He can channel that passion and deep understanding into this proven agency offer, which is short-form content. And now he knows exactly how to innovate and make his service much more valuable than basic editing and posting. He'll know exactly how to position himself as an expert with his outreach and in his sales calls, which then attracts and builds trust with much higher quality leads that are happy paying him 3, 5k per month, even more than that, for his expertise, and they will also stay loyal to him for years to come. And he'll be building an agency that he actually loves running, even on the days where he doesn't feel motivated, and uses those skills to develop and build other businesses, other projects aside from his agency in the future. I hope you guys can see here the massive difference in the journey that these 2 people will have, and how clearly that person number 2 will always win long term. So if you aren't scaling a type of agency that you have some sort of a deeper understanding or passion in, you will end up losing out to people that have this unfair edge on you. But this doesn't always have to mean you have to be passionate about the service you're providing. And it also doesn't mean you have to run an agency for 5-10 years. Because for me, my agency is focused on scaling brands on TikTok. So it's a lot of content and creative stuff. And I'm going to be totally honest, I had zero passion for TikTok or content when I started it out. But where my passion lied is in my long-term vision. And this service aligned and pushed me further down that long-term vision. So let me run you through it so you can see what mine looks like. So the first step in my vision is to start and scale agencies that provide in-demand growth services that e-com brands need to scale. which for me then of course equals great cash flow and also lets me develop a lot of skills and expertise while building out an extremely valuable fulfillment system that I can then utilize in the future. Step 2 is starting my own ecom brands, testing out products and using my expertise as well as the fulfillment systems to then scale that store that I start rapidly compared to anybody else starting in ecom. Step 3 is when I start buying into brands and also buying out brands. So I'll start to act as an investment fund and an incubator for the ecom industry. Step 4 is starting to scale agencies in the blockchain and Web3 industry. And then repeat the same process that I honestly did with ecom. And then step number 5 is when I start moving into private equity and venture capital. So starting a fund, becoming an angel investor and moving into the space where I'm making hundreds of millions. So hopefully you guys can see here that with this philosophy, my passion lies in playing the game, approaching business as if it was a game of chess. I don't necessarily enjoy any of the specific services at all, but I have that unfair edge because I understand that deep down, what I'm doing is pushing myself along that long-term vision. And knowing that I have this vision in the back of my head subconsciously puts a fire under my ass when I feel demotivated to do the boring work that will always come up eventually. And it also attracts a much higher quality and much higher paying client. This is also creates kind of an abundance mindset where I no longer need to care about scaling my agency to a specific number because that doesn't matter to me as much as my vision does. For example, in a sales call, it completely removes the scarcity mindset where you don't care if you sign the client or not. So the client, what happens is that they end up being the ones selling themselves to you. And I've experienced this with every client that I've signed on for Creative Skill, my most recent agency. And I'll throw up a couple of screenshots of leads messaging me, asking me to move forward to pay me a 6.5k per month retainer. So guys, I could go on for hours, but I'll end this part 1 to this series here. Make sure if you haven't already, click subscribe, follow me on Instagram to keep up with myself and kind of like my day-to-day life, and take the time to process this information. It's really, really important that you do that. Watch it multiple times, take notes, get yourself ready for the next part. We will move forward onto the next shift that you need to make if you want to scale your agency in 2023. Have a lovely day, guys, and I will see you in the next one.